Independence struggle in French Africa. The backlash from the French elite in Paris was grave against Guinea's quest for political independence. The French administration opted to destroy everything in the country that represented the so-called benefits of French colonization. Under the leadership of Se'kou Tour'e, Guinea was the first country under French domination in Africa to get its independence in 1958. At the time of their leaving, the French colonizers took all their property. They destroyed anything else they could not carry with, such as schools, nurseries, public administration buildings were crumbled to rubble. Horses and cows were killed, and food in warehouses was either burnt or poisoned. About 3,000 administrators, teachers, technicians, engineers, military doctors, and businessmen left the country. Only about 150 French government employees, mostly volunteers, remained behind. This rather extreme and vindictive action was meant to scare other French colonies. The colonial administration sent an unequivocal message that the punitive consequences of rejecting French domination and opting for independence were high. Fear grew in the Francophone colonies, but Se'kou Tour'e was unflinching in his resolve to free Guinea and held strong to his convictions that we prefer freedom in poverty to opulence in slavery. Tour'e was cast into isolation and turned to the Soviet Union and other Eastern Bloc nations for assistance. In contrast, Léopold Senghor of Senegal declared in 1958 that the choice of the Senegalese people is independence. They want it to take place only in friendship with France, not in dispute. Sylvanus Olympio, the first president of Togo, found a middle ground solution with the French. While he did not want Togo to continue under French domination, he instead opted to pay an annual debt to France for the so-called benefits of French colonization and avoid a similar backlash Guinea had experienced. That was the only condition that spared Togo from destruction before the French left. Togo was billed an estimated 40% of its annual budget in 1963. Togo's economy was in dire straits, and Olympio decided to replace the French colonial money, the FCFA, the franc for French African colonies, with the country's own currency. In January of 1963, hardly 3 days after Togo started printing its local currency, President Olympio was assassinated. A year later, in 1962, the first president of the Republic of Mali, Modibo Keïta, also decided to withdraw from using the French colonial currency imposed by France on its former African colonies. Keïta's leaning was towards building a socialist economy away from the domination of France. He also suffered a coup d'etat in November of 1968 under similar circumstances like those of Togo's Olympio. Keïta was subsequently arrested and jailed. In 1977, Modibo Keïta died in prison from poisoning.